catch as he goes up and gets it.
That's just a heck of a fight.
If you make it, you're in a position to win. Gonna go for two here. He's going for two. If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in a position to win.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
That's just a heck of a fight.
Gonna go for two here. Go for two here.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
Go for two here. Go for two here. If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in a position to win. Gonna go for two here. Go for two here.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
Go for two here. Go for two here. If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in a position to win. Gonna go for two here. He's going for two. If you don't make this, you lose. If you make it, you're in a position to win.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
That's just a heck of a fight.
Gonna go for two here. Go for two here.
Got him! One-handed catch as he goes up and gets it.
Go for two here. Go for two here.
One, go.
All right, we are back live. I am back with it. Don't have a hat on today. I'm pulling off my my Tim McAuliffe look. It's not Halloween though, so don't worry about it. Going for two, episode 89. Liam, is it episode 89? I'm pretty sure it's 89. I got all mixed up. 88. See, I got all mixed up because I wasn't here on Monday. But you know, we're counting down to kickoff for the Cowboys and the Saints. Tons to talk about. Chad, I see your Beefeater sweater. Boys got a big game this weekend. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. It's going to be a battle, obviously. A really good team coming from out west. See how it goes. Got to play a perfect game. It's the biggest game a lot of these kids play in life, actually. So playing a national championship is the first time we ever had one in London. So it's a big day. Can't see what my boys do. And yeah, I'm ready for it. And at this point, it's just I want to see some fireworks and I want to score points and tell these guys we have a lot of graduating players. Let them go out on top.
Yeah, and you got a big Saturday ahead because we're gonna hit that boost too. So that would be a good game. It's at Western, right? And people can buy tickets still.
Yeah, the noon hour on Saturday, so we'll be there.
Sweet. And Kalen, how are we feeling? Your receiving core is on IR. Your starting running back is now a practice squad running back for the Seahawks. And you're on bye week, but I mean, are you finally ready to take a deep breath here? Like, it's been a roller coaster of emotions for you.
It has, man. It really has. But I mean, I'm not gonna I had a great time on Monday. I don't know if you got the chance to watch a show. Chad mentioned fireworks there a second ago, and I had some good ones that I fired off there, Shane. So I'm sure you're not gonna let me get away with it, are you?
Look, I definitely watched the show, and if you think that I skipped because the Steelers lost, you're a fucking asshole.
Am I right though? You missed the other time you had to miss a show when it wasn't vacation. Was that because of the Steelers loss too? Not because, but was it the day after the Steelers lost?
Yeah, no, it was because of vacation. I was on a plane back from Vancouver, but I appreciate you keeping tabs on me. I definitely have had some convenient absences.
Well, when your team loses as much as the Steelers have this year, it's only certain you're going to miss a couple days.
Holy fuck. The Bucs have had
At least I would say it to you.
season.
At least I waited for you to be here before I said it.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I hope
Last week we were so friendly.
Yeah. This helmet isn't giving you PTSD, is it, Chad? Because Brian Kelly's taking a little trip down south. Let's go ahead and get started here. Let's thank our friends over at CoolBet. Obviously, they're always helping us out. They actually have a little promotion that we're going to run with them. We just have to finalize the details, but watch out for that. It's going to be a pretty cool giveaway. Always make sure you're checking out our friends over at Joe Cool's and Toboggan. And right now is a good time to go. I mean, after the show, head over there, grab a pint. They got $5 pints on Thursday nights, and I'm pretty sure they got some live music, which you'd probably rather have that on than listen to a Cowboys game anyway. So, what are we expecting tonight? Taysom Hill getting the start. I'm sure that every single person in the world has went ahead and hammered the under. And I guess now's not a bad time. We should probably drop our same game parlay. I got one. Chad's got one. So I'll go first, Chad, and then they're both paying out plus 700. But I got Cowboys minus 4.5, under 55.5. Amari Cooper gets the touchdown, and Dak Prescott goes over 250 yards passing. So I think at 8-1, I feel pretty good about that. Now, Chad, yours is somewhat. I don't know which one you're going to go with, but I know I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah, so the one I went with, I got plus 700 was I got Cooper only over 35 yards passing. Thought that was a nice little pick me up for me.
Yeah.
I got Ezekiel Elliott over 4.5 receiving yards. I didn't know that was an
It's like
option.
one screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I got Zeke and Cooper to score. Might as well just keep a theme here. Make watching the game a little bit easier for me. I only got to root for two guys. And I got plus 700 on that.
Mhm.
Wow.
It's not bad
And
at all.
CeeDee Lamb's back too, right? And so I think the Cowboys offense is going to be in better shape.
Yeah. And like Zeke has had like the worst rushing, but he's still scoring really, really well. His last 4 games have been really bad as far as rushing totals. But yeah, he's still getting in the end zone, and that's all that matters, right? For this bet.
Yeah, Tony Pollard's doing most of the work, and
Mm-hmm.
seems like he might be the feature back probably heading into next year, but I don't think that they're going to be giving up on Zeke anytime soon. But the bigger concern is both your left tackles are out. You're starting your third quarterback this year already as the Saints. Kamara's out. A couple guys on defense, like Davenport's out.
Yep.
Is this game even going to be competitive? I mean, is this line tricking us again?
Oh, I don't even know.
75% of the money being wagered is on the Cowboys right now.
I'm
That's
really
scary.
interested to see what we get a full game out of Taysom Hill looking like. Is it going to be full of gadget plays? And if it does he have a nickname? Does he come out of the game as Inspector Gadget?
Have you ever seen that
Maybe.
guy's his forehead, man? It's like that big.
What,
Yeah, he has
is that-
2 helmets.
But I don't know if I'm going to see over 15 passes this game though. Like I feel like we're going to be watching a pretty Navy style offense there, Chad?
I don't know. The last time he started was against the Bucks, and that was painful. I knew I was screwed when they ran 3 straight options, and then he threw the ball, and I was like, "And there's not a safety anywhere to be found."
Yeah.
All I remember though is that when he played, Kamara's stats tanked. I don't think Kamara is playing again tonight.
Mm-mm.
But whoever is running in New Orleans, if that guy's on your fantasy team, I would bench him because
Mark
it is the
Ingram.
Taysom Hill show,
Yeah.
and he doesn't hand the ball off. He keeps it himself. I don't know if that's a wise life choice. I guess he got paid now, so he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But Randy Gregory and Lawrence are back.
10 weeks,
that's amazing.
Lawrence, 10 weeks, boys.
And
So just,
10 tackles or
Yeah.
both tackles for the Saints are out, man. This is going to be trouble.
Wow.
Like they didn't
Yeah.
even put a bet for sacks on Coolbet. If you want to know how much faith they have in that New Orleans line, a quarterback who hasn't played it down at quarterback really this year, who likes to run. I don't even think he's that fast, so he's not going to outrun people. And you have their 2 best pass rushers back. That's a recipe for a long day.
The only real advantage he has as a running quarterback from the other typical running quarterbacks is that because of his like rugby background, like he knows how to take a hit. He knows how to lower that shoulder. He's used to doing that a little bit more. And you can see that when he does have the ball in his hands. But guys, how many times can a quarterback take a shot? It doesn't matter if you're Taysom Hill or not, right?
Right. Well, I mean, he's built to take shots, but yeah, I mean, he's spent some time on the concussion protocol this year already. So I think that they might be a little bit cautious with him, and I don't know. I think this one might be ugly. This might be like 31-0 kind of thing.
My Bucks need it, so I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, look, I right now, and the Falcons are probably going to finish second in that division. They're the only team with a stable quarterback, which is telling you everything you need to know about that shit division that you're in.
Mhm.
But I mean,
I got
I
the
don't know.
greatest Tom Brady shirt today, by the way. I wanted to share
Oh, yeah?
this. You guys, I looked for both of your teams. I didn't know what you wanted. I was going to get you all a Christmas gift, but I didn't actually know what you wanted. Go to Fanatics, click on sale items. I was getting team gear for like $4, like licensed team gear.
I just saw Liam's fingers go to his keyboard.
Yeah.
He's all about it. No one else can
I
see
got,
Liam, so they're probably
I got
doing
like,
video.
remember like those like cartoon figurines you get when you went to the fair?
Yeah, yeah.
I got one of those with a Super Bowl champion Tom Brady on the front, where his head's like
Jeez.
this big. Just it's $4. I think I spent over $4 in my life.
Definitely.
I'm not
Definitely.
supposed to plug Fanatics on this bad boy, but man, do some Christmas shopping, boys. Get it done.
Shit, yeah. No, we should get a promo code from Fanatics because they don't sell our stuff yet. I mean, we haven't quite struck that deal yet, but I mean, if someone wants to buy fan gear, you might as well go there. That's where I get my stuff too. But anyway, any reason to believe that the Saints are winning tonight?
No. Trickery.
Okay.
I mean, that's it.
So-
and it's Mike McCarthy.
So I mean, based on that, that probably means that it's 100% certainty that the Saints are winning tonight, just because of the way that the season's gone.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
Got
whatever. I mean,
All
Yeah.
the money's on the Cowboys. Well then, Saints are gonna win.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I won't even give you my theory on sports betting nowadays, but because I'm going to get assassinated during the show. Let's move on to the Denver Broncos. I think that multiple times on this show we've counted them out. Multiple times on this show we thought that they were shit. The way it's positioned right now, they're the number 2 team in that division. Huge Sunday night football game against the Chiefs coming up. Now, it was flexed into this spot, and this is probably the first time ever that a game's been flexed in, and it was a double-digit spread. Like, how bad was the other game to get flexed out of this position when the Broncos are going to Arrowhead and they're a 10-point underdog?
What was the game that got flexed? It was the Ravens, wasn't it? Did they get
No,
flexed
it
out?
was the Seahawks and the 49ers.
Oh, okay, understandable. Right. Now, wait, hold on. You tooted the horn of the Broncos last year. You
Yep.
gave up on them completely off season and through the first 5 weeks of this year. Don't tell me you're getting back on that train, man. They're going to hurt you again. They have flashes.
I would prefer it if Drew Lock played for the Steelers, but I don't know, man. I don't have any reason to believe that something is going to go right for them this week. But
Mhm.
I don't know. They're on the road. You're getting 10 points. Yeah,
Well-
pretty good defense.
What's really- They
I
got
feel
Chubb
like
back.
I would probably bet with them at least.
Wow. I still think that with Chubb coming back, that creates a lot of pressure. That's where Denver's been really feeding off of. But they're going up against an offensive line, Kansas City, that has really turned it around this year, guys. Like, they were really bad 5 weeks ago, that offensive line, to the point that they had to switch out the tackles there, the right tackle. They got rid of the rookie and brought in the old guy again. Now, I don't know if you paid attention or not, the center for that team, Chad, I know you love the trenches, man. I know it's an AFC team, but that center might arguably be the best center in the NFL right now. It's crazy. He's the highest graded PFF center for sure, and the highest
That
rookie in
means
like 10
everything.
years. I know you guys don't want to, you don't like those stats, or those numbers, but that means something. He's obviously really intelligent, and if your center is doing work, and I think that's what your center, Chad, you'll probably agree to this too. If you're weak from the center, your offensive line is probably going to be weak as a whole. He's your communicator.
If your center's stupid, yeah.
Well, think about a rookie. That's what I mean. Think about a rookie that comes into the league and he gets thrown into a Kansas City offense right away. A mobile quarterback who's kind of moving around a lot, and you got to learn how to move with that quarterback. It takes you a few weeks to kind of get your legs under you, right? And now look at him.
But do we know if he's calling signs? Because a lot of times with a young kid, they'll put the guard will call them. Like I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say I know what's happening in Kansas City, but I know a lot of times they've.
Yeah, the right guard's a rookie too. Yeah, so it could be the left guard potentially. I can't remember what his name is right now, but he's been there a couple years anyway. So
If it's a rookie and he's calling that stuff out, man, I'll tip my hat to him because that shit's not easy, and they usually get abused at such a young age, right? Centers, just they can't keep up. But yeah, man, good on him if he's getting that stuff done. Like their offensive line has changed, obviously. That Kansas City team has gotten significantly better. I think we can all agree to that.
100%.
I still like. I think that now you got to put them right back in the conversation with the AFC as much as no one wanted, because
Well,
the Raiders fell off and the Chargers. Who knows what Chargers team's fucking showing up?
right.
And the Bills. I don't even know what to do with them anymore. Like the Patriots are in fucking first place again.
Right. That's a huge Monday night game, which we'll get into probably on Monday, I guess. Right? We'll save that one because that'll give us a lot to talk about on Monday for sure. Yeah, I mean for the Chiefs, and you guys were talking about the O line. Wouldn't Patrick Mahomes be the one that's directing traffic up there? Because I know, like on some teams, it's the quarterback, and on some teams it's the center. And like in Pittsburgh, for example, Ben Roethlisberger directs his O-line. So I would just assume that Patrick Mahomes, being a veteran, $500 million quarterback, he's the one that's telling them when they're slide. Like Tom Brady, he's making the signals in Tampa.
Yeah, formations out front, right? And just like I would assume when it was Pouncey, he was calling the shifts on the line. I would assume for
Maybe.
the front
I don't know.
four. Young
Pouncey
kid, probably
wasn't a good
not. But
decision maker. He used to hang out with Aaron Hernandez. He wasn't like a decision maker kind of guy.
hey, free Hernandez.
That's a little hard now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little hard now. Oh my god! But I don't know, because I was really surprised when remember when Cam Newton got into New England and he said that was the first time in football that he's ever had to call up protections. That's a long time in the NFL to not ever have to call a protection. Mind you, he did have a few decent centers a very good center when he was in Carolina.
I don't know. I mean, it's gonna vary from team to team. I just thought a Patrick Mahomes type guy would, but yeah, I don't know. As far as that game goes, I'm looking forward to watching that game. It's good to have that flexed in. I just hope it's not one of these boat races where Kansas City gets off to a huge start and it's just a laugh for the rest of the way through. Probably the game of the week though is coming at 1:00, and that's going to be the Bengals and the Chargers, because that one has pretty huge implications on the AFC. Now, what Chargers team is going to be the team that shows up for this one? And are they going to continue their back and forth nature as far as the offense rolling? I believe, well, I don't believe, I know for sure it's in Cincinnati. Justin Herbert doesn't seem to have big wins on the road.
So it's West Coast teams traveling east, right? Fortunately for him,
Maybe,
that's
yeah.
like him playing at like 11:00 in the morning, and maybe that's just not something he's used to doing or something. But
When the games are in LA, he still shits the bed. I mean, they blew it against a few teams, like
yeah, they haven't
you
done
got to
well.
get off that.
Yeah, and I've been loving the Chargers. I love Justin Herbert, but I have equally loved Burrows, and I have been on the Bengals like all year long, man. And after
I
that
wouldn't say
win
it's
last
equal.
week,
You have such a bigger man crush on Joe Burrow than anybody else in the NFL right now.
yeah, well,
I
he's
don't even
pretty
mean that
funny.
like in a negative way. Like you literally love that guy.
I could watch him all day long, man. He takes shots, and like he's just the way he plays after. He's got that swagger. There's something about Mahomes' swagger that I never really liked, but I like Burrow's swagger. Maybe it's because that frog voice that Mahomes got after. I can't stand it.
There's
cheering
nothing
after.
like a guy that gets beat out on his college team and has to get in the transfer portal and has one good year to build swagger. Like that's the kind of guy that I want around me, that just gives up when it doesn't go his way.
Well,
Makes sense. No, that's a leader. He's a leader. Natural born.
sounds like Chad talking about the head coach leaving Notre Dame right now.
Wow, you're a piece of shit. You know that?
Wow, this thing is gonna get off the rails quick.
Yeah. The guy wins 7 games and he has so much to talk about.
Well, hey, the
Yeah.
Brian Kelly thing, like I know you thought I was messing with you, but I was literally watching the news break, and I knew you guys weren't watching it. I was like, no, take me seriously. Take me seriously. There's actually a tornado behind you. There's really, Chad, I'm being serious. There's a tornado behind you. And you're like, no, Shane's being a dick. Like, that's fair, because
I rewatched it, and it was crazy watching Chad say, "Oh, Shane's just fucking with me," or whatever, and then 5 minutes later, seeing the real reaction on his face when he realized it was just like in The Simpsons when you saw the Bart's like heartbreak, or who was it? Ralph's heartbreak.
Ralph.
Yeah,
At this exact moment, you can see where the heart gets ripped out of his chest.
Straight up.
Well, there's another heart about to be ripped out of chest. Actually, and it could be 2, but we'll stick with one. because the other guy's probably just going to end up retiring, is Russell Wilson. I am willing to bet right now that he's not the quarterback of the Seahawks next year. So realistically, I want to know where these possible landing spots are going to go. I think Pete Carroll might be done after this year too, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's just going to, ride off into the sunset, maybe go take like a front office job or something. But Seattle's clearly in need of a rebuild. Keeping Russell's contract around is not going to, ask the Falcons how that's going for them. So where could Russell end up? And, does he stay in the NFC, AFC? I mean, let's figure it out. Let's talk through it.
Chad, do you want to lead this one?
I have an idea.
What, he's going to the Bucks? Is he going to back up Tom Brady for another year?
Fuck that guy. I don't even.
Hey,
look
John
at his fucking
Chenyer's here.
moonshots.
He's going all about the Cowboys here.
Oh,
No,
I bet
I'm
he would.
saying that is the producer of our starting track. So shout out to him. If you guys don't know Chenyer beats, you don't know anything.
I'm gonna go with this three teams. Miami obviously is one hotbed. Houston's the other one, but the team I really think is a smart play. I don't want to go to that Washington team.
That's really
There's
smart,
weapons at different levels. Really good defense. You're beating out Taylor Heineke. I'm pretty sure Russ could do that with one arm and one leg. And you're back on the East. You're in a shit division. You're only playing the Cowboys.
All right.
So I
And
like the
Eagles, I
Washington
guess, but
play.
yeah.
Huh. Well, I agree with you, Houston. I think that's probably the most realistic option. But unfortunately, they just don't have any draft picks. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. They want draft picks back, and they don't have them, right? I think the team that he lands with is a guy somebody's been chasing a quarterback since the other quarterback retired, John Elway. I think he's going to end up in Denver. If one, it gets him out of the conference, right? Two, it still keeps him on the West Coast area. So I'm sure that they, will keep Russell happy a little bit. I don't care about trading away, but he's done a lot for our franchise. So let's keep him happy, keep him in the West if that's where he wants to be. But they just locked up their two wide receivers there. They have a defense that is, when Surtain is playing, is way better, right? They have a lot to build around there. And Russell can go from one area one advantage in having the 12th man to having another advantage in having Mile High. One hell of a career advantage he'd have, huh?
Imagine how high he would throw the ball in Mile High.
Oh, talk about moonshots, Chad.
I don't think that the receiver's hands will be able to handle it. Now, our guy John Chenyer's chimed in here and said the Miami Dolphins is where he thinks Russ is going. And that's not bad, but I'm going to table that one for a second because the realistic one, and I wasn't really thinking about it until this morning, the New Orleans Saints. They have a team that's built to win. Everything is already around them. I don't think that they could possibly afford him. However, if they could find a way to make the cap work, don't you think that he would waive that no trade clause to go to New Orleans with that defense? You got a couple receivers around there. Kamara's there. And Sean Payton. I mean, that just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to worry about locking up Mr. Slant then too. He'd probably want to stick around.
I think that, he would probably go back. I mean, Michael Thomas is going back for that. You might even be able to get a couple of these big name receivers that are going to be hitting free agency this year. New Orleans could be a destination, and it might even be more attractive knowing that that Tom Brady's he's probably only got 3 or 4 years left, right? So Russ can go there and really only have to compete against Brady. And I think that would be fun. That would reignite that rivalry again. And, I think that Russell Wilson could step in the shadow that Drew Brees casts, even though it's 5'10" worth.
About the same height, aren't they?
Probably, but
Yeah, Drew was his idol because they were both small. That's what he said.
look, I think it makes sense, and they probably have the picks, and they might even have the attractive picks that they're going to want. And
You also have a $90 million guy named Tyson Hill that's eating up your fucking salary.
Yeah, but you could just trade him back to Seattle, give him a chance to start. Who knows, man? Who knows what's going to happen? I just think that we can all pretty much agree that the Russell Wilson Seattle Seahawks thing is coming to an end.
It kind of feels that way, but
Especially if Pete's on his way out, I think.
Yeah. Well, that one's come to an end. Here's another guy that I'm I think that he might be finding himself onto a different team next year, and it's Christian McCaffrey. This guy is having a hard time staying healthy, and I'm not even willing to blame it on him, even though at a certain point, like you're injury prone, right? But I think that the style of offense that they're running and the way that they expect to use this guy is pretty unfair. It was smart for them to go get Chuba Hubbard, because that way he doesn't have to be the only guy carrying the ball now. But if you're the Panthers, you're paying this guy all this money, and how many games has he played in the last 2 years?
Less than
less than
10
less than or 10 and a half, I think.
Is it that? I don't even think it's that high, man. Honestly, I think that he's played, like, he got injured in the first game of the year last year,
or second
first
two
game
this year.
Yeah, I think he's played like
He
9
came back
games
for
in
a
the
couple.
last 1 year. Yeah.
I would say 6, 7, 8, 9 games, and in a two-year span, and you're paying him all this money. Those are the kind of guys that usually get cut in the league. And
Well,
I
they did come
I
out
can
and
see
say
nothing.
that they did come out and say they didn't want to trade him, though. I mean, I know teams are
Yeah,
going to blow
well-
smoke whether they're going to blow smoke, right? But
You know what?
there-
Brian Kelly also said that Mike Tomlin said it best, because there's no booster with a big enough check, and apparently there is. Apparently there is.
Oh my God! What?
I hope you fucking stub your toe. Like, I hope you go the stairs and you just fucking stub your toe so hard tonight.
Oh man! But you obviously wait. Hold on. Listen, Brian Kelly's a bit. I know we're gonna keep coming back to this. It's not college football talk right now, but the rumored, or did they actually hire him? The defensive coordinator there. Everybody
Hasn't
wants
been-
him.
It hasn't been announced yet. He was brought in to be the next guy.
And everybody's happy with it.
I think everybody thought Brian Kelly was going to retire, and that's how it was going to happen. I don't think they thought he was going to jump ship the way that he did. I think they're more mad about the way he addressed the players after it all went down more than anything. He
is
calls
fair.
a meeting wakes them at 7 a.m. and gave them less than 4 minutes of his time, then walked out the door.
And was it true that only one guy actually showed up though?
No.
Oh, okay. Because when you said guys, I was like, I read that it was only one person that literally showed up to the whole meeting, and then somebody had tweeted out after saying, like, if I was in college and somebody called a 7 meeting and tell me you're bailing on us, I wouldn't show up either. So I wonder how much the team actually showed.
Tommy Reese came in and addressed the team afterwards and made it very clear he was not leaving, which I was very happy about.
Mhm. Yeah.
That was the big one for me. It was like, fuck, if he goes with them, then we have nobody. But I also do believe that Tommy Reese will be at Notre Dame for life. I don't think, unless he goes to the NFL. He played there. He was a captain there. He went back there. I think in his ways, he's going to probably stay there unless the right job does come. I can't see you leaving me in the OC at Notre Dame to go be a head coach at a top 70 school.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know if I actually, you know what? I'm fairly certain to say that Brian Kelly would have offered him to go with him to LSU. So good for him.
He
for
did,
not
and
going.
he said no.
Yeah, I mean, you would probably expect to be somewhat in line for like at least an assistant to the head coaching position, if something like that is your way. I mean, Tommy Reese is still pretty young. Like, he's our age, right? So
And
to
he's
be our
29,
age and
actually.
yeah, he's how much?
29. He's only a kid.
Wow.
Okay, so to be
He
in
played on
position
that
at his
national
age.
championship team in 2013. Like, he was on that team.
Right. Well,
Is that Jimmy Clausen here?
No, Everett Golson.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He followed Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when Brian, so it was him and that's when Charlie Weiss was there. It was Charlie Weiss's last year brought Tommy Reese in, and then Brian Kelly came in and ran the spread. And Tommy Reese is about as athletic as Liam, so not really built for the spread. Yeah, I said you're as athletic as an NCAA starting quarterback. I was complimenting you. Maybe not for the spread offense, but I was complimenting you. And yeah, he started 1 year, and then they brought in Everett Golson, and then he kind of backed him up and just came in situationally for them. But then he went to the NFL for bounced around a couple practice roster teams, and he came back and started coaching. So I just don't see him going anywhere else. Not at his age,
Right.
anyways.
Well,
Get him a couple, like when he's 35, 36, and yeah, people are knocking on doors. It might make sense, but when you're only 29 and you're the OC at a top 5 school, why would you leave?
right. So Tommy Reese isn't going anywhere, but is Christian McCaffrey going anywhere? I kind of took us down a different rabbit hole there after I took a shot at you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. The team needs superstars still. That we saw even just what Cam did, showing back up to the team, brought the fans back to the stadium. The team needs that, and he's still one of their only superstars on the team. That like really, they have a good defense, but like superstars that you want to put on a jersey, you know?
Right.
So,
Chad,
I
you think you think he's going to the Bucks or what?
For the right price, who doesn't want to play with Tom Brady?
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I mean, it
Well,
actually like
obviously
I would think
AB
it's more
doesn't,
plausible. Yeah, it's more plausible that McCaffrey ends up in Tennessee. Imagine McCaffrey and Derrick Henry in the same backfield. That'd be pretty wild.
would be pretty crazy.
I'm
If he's
pretty
going to land
sure
in
a
the
guy like him would be saying the Rams. That's right. I think everybody's gonna start going to LA. I honestly believe that.
That makes sense.
well, I don't know what their cap is at right now, and of course, Carolina would have to take a huge hit to even trade McCaffrey. But if he's going to land in the AFC, a team that needs a running back and certainly could fit that offense or fit an offense is Buffalo. He can do well in Buffalo, right?
They would just misuse him. They don't know how to run the ball. It's wild. And
Yeah.
I agree. Like I think that's a perfect fit, especially for the offense that they're running. And Josh Allen is a better version of what Cam Newton used to be. So when McCaffrey was kind of like making his stripes in the league, that's what he would be used to, I think, and that would be a good spot for him. Another running back that's hurt all the time, and this is a guy that I avoid in every fantasy draft, even though like I always end up playing him when he gets his 4 touchdown day. It's Dalvin Cook. This guy, another guy, just can't stay healthy. I mean, it's hard to say that someone's injury prone when you have these kind of injuries. Like your separated shoulder. I don't know. Maybe call Mac Jones and ask him how he takes care of his body, because it seems like Mac Jones doesn't get hurt, but Dalvin Cook, who's a physical specimen, he's getting himself hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, it's in a tough year too when Kirk is taking off. Like usually Dalvin Cook has been really the driving force for Minnesota's offense. And there's been like on the Achilles heel of the turnovers from Kirk Cousins, but Kirk's turned it around this year. Dalvin's still playing really, really well. I mean, it's just another player that he's too electric to take off your squad.
Yeah, but if you're going to be paying the guy this much money to play 6 games a year, is it worth it?
They would be in such less cap hell if it wasn't for that silly ass contract that Kirk Cousins has, which is coming up, right? So maybe they make it work.
Man, Kirk Cousins and Bobby Bonilla are my 2 favorite sports athletes' contracts.
We will be wearing Bobby Bowday shirts this year, Shane. I'm getting them made for us.
Yeah, 100%. Like that is Canada Day edition. Let's go.
It's Happy Canada Day after I send my Happy Bobby Bowday message to Shane every single year.
Yeah, and a year doesn't go by that we don't forget, like that we forget. So anybody that's worried that we're gonna forget, we will not forget. Now, so I'm gonna give you not a name, but I'm just gonna give you some stats, and I want to see if you guys can guess who this is, or see if you would even sign up for this person to be your quarterback, because I saw this and I was like, oh shit. So this person has made 16 starts in the NFL now. They are 9-7.
Over how many years?
Not telling.
Well, if he's 31 and 9-7, it's different than if he's 26.
Okay, he's not 31.
Okay.
He is
under
still
30.
he's still within the realm of his rookie contract.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
So he's 9-7, 26 touchdowns, 15 turnovers. Who is it, and would you sign up for those stats?
I gotta guess. I think just based off what you said a little earlier about somebody on a Broncos team. Is that Drew Lock's numbers?
No.
Damn. I don't know. Would I sign up for those numbers? I mean, it's a little bit too many on the turnovers, but yeah, that's an okay quarterback. It kind of gets you through a bridge deal.
As a young
That's on Google
quarterback,
right
no,
That's
no.
on Google right now.
Now my computer's over there. I wouldn't cheat like that. I would accept 15 turnovers in 16 games as a young quarterback. It's less than 1 a game. The 26 touchdowns really, really intrigues me. The 9-7 shows that you're winning, so I like that because not too many young quarterbacks go to really good teams. Um, is that Jalen Hurts?
Nope.
Duck
But
Hodges.
that's another good guess. So unless you guys have another guess, I can just break the ice here.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
bring. I'm good. Yeah, I like his
Okay,
stat line
so-
though.
So this is we have friends of the show that would be cheering for this guy on a daily basis, and that's Tua Tagovailoa's numbers. I was floored. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, the left-handed assassin is apparently out there putting up stats, and we're just not paying attention. And I'm too focused on the guy, like the fact that he's left-handed and small, to not pay attention. And I'm not ready to go back and eat my words. I'm not ready to take it back. Like I still wouldn't want this guy to be my quarterback if I like, but he's winning games and he does it like he's effective. And for a second year guy, maybe I've been too hard on him.
Well, okay, so 9-7. That's including last year, I'm assuming, obviously, then, right?
Yeah,
So-
so it's last year and this year.
So does he get the win when Fitzpatrick came in as the closer?
I believe so. I think it works under the same status as baseball.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's
Fitzpatrick
8-7
doesn't
then.
get the save. I don't think, even though they were up by 3.
Well, it's because like didn't Fitzpatrick come in and win like 3 games last year? So wouldn't that put him at like 6-6 then? Really? He couldn't actually
So
close
you're
out the
saying
game.
you're saying this guy's Fugazi.
I mean, 9-7 sounds really good until you investigate it and you remember this whole conversation last year about this brand new idea of bringing in a closer quarterback in Fitzpatrick, and then
So
the
you're saying
26
he's 6
touchdown.
and 10. He's 6 and 10, and you think he's a fraud?
Well, it could, and then you've got his touchdown numbers sound really good too, but they've lost a lot of friggin' games this year. That could become from like behind, passing the ball a lot, scoring touchdowns that way.
What's
still
his
losing.
PFF number, Shane?
6.2534.
There's no doubt that
have no
they
idea.
got one of the better wide receivers in the draft in the last couple of years too. I think he's going to grow with them,
Oh.
but
Apparently, we got no sound. Is that correct still? I don't know. I can hear you guys.
Oh,
okay.
I'm saying it.
Kelly says
Oh,
there's no.
whatever.
Kelly says there's no sound. Hopefully it's fixed for her. Anyway, yeah. The Tua thing, like I said, maybe we were too hard on him. I think that I was too hard on him. I said that he was a loser and that he wouldn't win a game in Buffalo in the cold. I still probably think that's true, but 9-7. It's probably not time for the Dolphins to go and look for Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, right? And that's why I said table this thing because I know Chenier brought that up, and I think that makes sense. Like for a spot for Russell, like that's a destination for him. But if you're Miami and you're building towards 9-7, except for like if we're saying he's 6 and 10, he's just a fraud, then is this a spot for Russ or Deshaun Watson, or is this still Tua's team? Because I changed my mind. I think it's Tua's team.
I think he has 1 year left to prove it because they have to make that decision on that extension.
Okay.
So I think they're going to give him next year. See what he can actually do. Second year with Jalen. They've had more picks. They can add to it and see where that team grows. But I just don't know if Todd Bowles will get luxury. And I think that's going to be the hard part. Because if I'm a new coach, they always bring in their own guy.
Right.
And if Tua does not do what the new coach wants him to do, he will be out the door and he'll find his replacement very fast.
So we think Flores is done.
I think he is.
Okay.
Hmm.
Kayla, you think Flores is done? I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're winning games unless Tua's in, apparently, based on what we're seeing.
yeah, I'm not prepared to say that he's done yet. He was a highly sought after candidate for the coaching position, and Miami can't keep just cycling coaches like this, man. They got to stick with somebody. As far as like Tua giving up to, he's an Alabama
Sometimes the
quarterback.
highly sought after coaching candidates don't stay where they're supposed to.
Yeah, I agree. I think Miami's a pretty nice destination. I don't think any coach doesn't really want to leave there either.
Chad's so fucking mad at me right now. he's just choosing to ignore me.
But yeah, no, I don't think Brian Flores is going to be going anywhere. And yeah, Tua, like, he's Alabama quarterback. They always get an opportunity to play with that contract, I think. So he got that one more year.
All right. Well, what about this Washington football team? Seems like they're starting to catch their stride a little bit. They're playing the Vegas Raiders this week. Not like
Mhm.
that would be a game that I would have circled on the calendar back when it came out in April. But at this point, it actually does have some pretty significant playoff implication to it, which a lot of the good games down the stretch here will. But what are you thinking of this game, and which team is it more important for at this point?
Both of them, I guess. I guess you could say I'm allowed to take both, but I think the next couple of weeks are massive for the Redskins. They string together a couple wins, and they're right there in the NFC East all over again. The Washington
Right.
football team. My bad.
Yeah, at least you got yourself.
I didn't catch me. I saw you laughing. It's a good thing we're on video. I just really like that Washington team. I think they're doing enough to win. The defense is really good. I like their star power. I just feel the Raiders are going to do Raiders things, and they're going to blow it. And Derek Carr's
And
having.
it seems
a
like
phenomenal
Heineke's the
year.
real deal. I don't know. It seems like he's the real deal.
And I hope
Oh.
Derek. I think Carr just says, you know what, I've had enough and I'm out. I hope he gets the Matt Stafford.
Huh.
I think
Well-
Chad's camera just spazzed out there for a sec, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Yeah, I mean,
No.
go ahead, Caleb.
I was gonna say, like, we were talking on Monday about Washington. They were going into that game, right? And I like their defense, like Chad had mentioned there. I mentioned on Monday, their front four, their front seven is actually really, really good. Heineke does take enough shots. I think again, he's that bridge quarterback, but Rivera is good at that. I feel like he's just that leadership that he brings to the team. It doesn't matter who's a quarterback. Like, the team is always going to want to fight to the bitter end for that coach. It feels like. So they're a scary team. If they had even, like an actual competent NFL type quarterback that isn't Taylor Heineke, they might be really, really scary down the stretch. Don't talk to Lane about it though, because I think the G-Man got to play them twice, and he thought they were going to win every game. So, man,
I disagree. I think Heineke is a serviceable NFL quarterback, and there's nothing wrong with the way he's playing. He just had a pretty good game on Monday night. He's been pretty good this year. I like his story. I don't know if you guys saw any of the back history that they had from Monday Night Football, and I don't know, go for the underdog.
One Kurt Warner in my lifetime is enough. Okay.
Well, look, in about 5 minutes, we are going to switch gears and talk all about USC football. So let's just hold on to that, because I heard that they got a new coach and a couple new recruits there. So anybody that is in the southern part of the United States might not be too super thrilled about that, but we will get to that. Now, before we get to that, let's go NFC West really quick, because our Arizona somehow stayed hot without their starting quarterback, best receiver. It seems like the 49ers are they're one of the hottest teams in football right now. Now, what do the Rams need to do to re-engage and get themselves back together?
do they have a bye week left?
I think that they already used it. Yeah, I think they already used their lifeline. Their lifeline they're out of lifelines. This is
Yeah, I mean, and Stafford needs to get healthy, man. That's all it really comes down to for them. Stafford needs to, they need to stop taking stupid penalties too.
well, and the loss of Bobby Trees is definitely it's showing pretty true.
Bobby Trees. What is that? How long you been sitting on that nickname for?
Hey, Kalen, this is all about innovation, and that's what we continue to do on this show is innovate. I'm sorry if my mind circles different avenues than yours does.
You heard him calling that, Chad? Bobby Trees?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, we don't talk a whole lot of Rams football on here, and we definitely don't talk about blocking receivers, but clearly that guy is showing a bigger impact. Do you know what
Showing what he's
university he
actually
went to?
worth.
Do you know what university he went to?
What? Lay it on
USC.
me.
Oh, USC. Yeah, he went to USC.
Yeah.
Apparently, they've been in the news recently, and we'll get to that in a sec. But what do the Rams? Yeah, outside of getting healthy, what do they need to do? They got a game that it's time to get right here.
I think they got to
Mhm.
stop drinking their own Kool-Aid and
Maybe.
get down to grinding football games out, winning the games that you're tested in, and get back to like you've brought all stars in. All stars have to be all stars. Like a guy like Robert Woods is not a Pro Bowler. He's not a star, but he's the right guy on the right team. He's
He's
the
a Trojan.
perfect
He's a protector.
he's the perfect piece to that puzzle, and he makes Cooper Cup do what he gets to do. Odell has to figure out what his role is going to be in LA, or Odell's going to be out the fucking door, and his dad will be crying again.
Right. Well, I mean, it's fairly certain that he's going to be on a different team next year unless he takes like a team friendly deal because there's almost no chance that the Rams could afford to pay that guy what he's probably going to want in the offseason, even though he might not deserve it. He might have the production to get it. But yeah,
That perfectly
Give-
lines into the college talk you were about to talk. Right
Yeah.
there. That last line you
Yeah.
just said there.
yeah. And we are going to get to the college thing. And we know that we have a lot of stuff teed up. We actually have our super boost this week, which is fully dedicated to college football. But at this, we all know that we're in Canada. At Kelly just realized what I said. At this point, we should at least make a Grey Cup prediction. We got the Grey Cup semifinals are this weekend. I'll start off, and right now I'm wearing dark blue and baby blue. That was 100% for the Toronto Argonauts. I think that it's going to be the Blue Bombers and the Argonauts, and definitely the Blue Bombers are going to win the Grey Cup because we all bet it at the beginning of the season. So
Yeah, I got the Blue Bombers and I got Hamilton.
Oh.
I think they, with the Grey Cup being in Hamilton, I think they got that extra little motivation. Really, a drive down 45 minutes is still considered a home game in Canada because the
Yeah.
Argos don't get fans, the Ticats do. So
100%.
Yeah.
Kale, where
Well,
you leaning?
I'm leaning with the Argos, and then I promised Rick and Rick's buddy that I would cheer for the Rough Riders too. So that's where I'm going.
Okay. Well, I mean, I kind of want the Blue Bombers to win it because I know that our boy Huss will come on and go nuts on here because that guy's Winnipeg sports in a nutshell.
I bet you I could get Tanner back on too. He's playing.
Yeah, and well, yeah, I mean that would be awesome. That would be a nice little pull for us for next week. I'm sure he's gonna be busy, but we can bring the Grey Cup on and kiss it on the show. Let's go to college football because it was a pretty big week in college football, guys. There was a lot of stuff happening. Now, before we get into the news of what was happening, we should go ahead and drop our boost for the weekend. Coolbet put this together for us. They boosted our odds all the way up to 4-1 odds. We're definitely backing our boy at Jackson State. Lane and Deion Sanders are going to win the championship out there. We got them on the money line. Oklahoma State and Baylor over 44.5.
They don't play
And
defense in
Georgia
the
to
Big
win
12,
by
so-
3.5. What's that?
So they don't play defense in the Big 12. So 44 is a
don't.
pretty
I
low
mean,
number.
Legitimately, that could be the score at the end of the first quarter. And I don't know, I'm backing the Bulldogs only because I see I want Cincinnati to be in this thing. So that's our boost. We're going to have that thing posted tomorrow and the next day. 100%. It's already up live on CoolBet, so you can go get it. But when we get into the college football playoff, we can see what they're doing and we can see how they've structured it. Clearly, the committee wants Oklahoma State in this thing, right? They expect Baylor to win, they expect them to beat Baylor. That would be 2 top 10 wins. Obviously, they've overrated Baylor the same way that they were overrating Michigan State back a few weeks ago. And I kind of said that when they were playing Ohio State. They wanted these teams to have bigger resumes. In the off chance that this is a real scenario that could happen, Alabama beats Georgia. Both those teams are in 100%. You know that Michigan is probably going to beat Iowa, even though it'd be so fantastic if they don't. I would love it. Love every second of it. But at that point, if Oklahoma State wins, there's a high likelihood that they're jumping Cincinnati and an undefeated Cincinnati team gets left out. And I went back and I did a little bit of research, which is outside of what we would normally do. We usually don't research, but I thought I would research to see has there ever been a team holding a playoff spot going into the championship week, winning convincingly, and didn't make the playoff. and I found one. So that's good. I mean, that's what research does.
Oh my God, what team is it?
TCU in 2014 was the 4 seed. It wasn't Notre Dame. I'm not going to do that to them.
I thought that's who it was gonna be.
Yeah, no. TCU in 2014 was I don't know. Shit, I should have wrote down if they're undefeated or not. Anyway, they were the 4th seed going into championship week. They blew out whoever they played in the Big 12 championship game, and 2014, and Ohio State still leapfrogged them to get it.
Yep.
12-1. Okay, so they obviously lost one game throughout at some point, but the what the hell was that?
But it was TCU and they were the Big 12, right? That's got to be what it is.
Okay, so that was TCU in the Big 12, but the committee put them in. So I went and researched, does the committee, like, how do they pick every week? And apparently they start every single week with a fresh sheet of paper and they write the entire thing out. So I don't know what that means for Cincinnati fans, but everything is, and Kalen, you and I have a pretty close Cincinnati fan, and you know that everything in my power is making me want to make big.
I got two. My nephew went to Cincinnati too.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So Big Fudge is gonna be pissed about this, but I am in full belief that Cincinnati is gonna beat Houston, and everything is gonna go in the direction, and Oklahoma State's gonna be the 4 seed.
So if they, I guess if you said you're in full conviction of that, right?
Yeah.
So if they make it into the playoffs, does that mean that you have to do the Bearcat on TV?
I'm not sure what that is.
What do the Bearcat? The song? You don't remember that song?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do it.
I will absolutely.
You look really comfortable doing that, Kalen.
Buddy, you don't remember that song?
Like you look like you've rehearsed that on more than one occasion.
Oh man, there was some times I'd call the office, retro night, that song would come on. It just takes over. But we'll be seeing potentially. I'm cheering for Cincinnati here. Like I said, my nephew went there. I really do hope they make it. They're going to get their asses kicked in the playoff pool. It doesn't matter. But
I honestly think it's out of their hands. Like, it doesn't matter how many they beat Houston by. I think it's out of their hands if.
That's the thing.
If Alabama
you weren't here.
Beats Georgia, it's over, man.
Yeah, you weren't here on Monday. I wanted to talk to you about those statement wins that you guys were talking about leading into that weekend and how they took them 4 overtimes to beat Auburn. Like that, does that not affect them in any way? It's a victory or is a win a win?
They're still one of the best teams, and the fact that they're going to be in a neutral site. And I'll be honest, 4 weeks ago, I talked to a guy that's pretty heavily into betting and like a bookmaker, and him and I were both agreeing that we thought that Alabama would be the favorite in this game. Clearly, things have changed since then. Clearly, the Georgia dominance has continued to be there, but it's not going to be far-fetched to think that Alabama is going to beat Georgia. How many times has Kirby Smart beaten Georgia or beaten Alabama?
How this is considered a not good Alabama team,
I know.
and we're still saying there's a good chance they're going to a national championship.
Right.
So if they do beat Georgia, does that mean Petty gets the Heisman then?
I don't know. Right now, I'm gonna say that it's gonna be Bryce Young, just based on that drive that he led to take them into overtime.
That was wild.
That was big enough to win him the Heisman in a year that the Heisman doesn't really have a clear front runner. CJ Stroud not being in the Big Ten championship game is obviously going to hurt him, and the way that Kenneth Walker performed against Ohio State, that obviously doesn't help him either. So I don't know. I don't want to say by default, but Bryce Young seems like it's the easiest. Those are the 3 guys that are going to be on stage, and Bryce Young's going to win it.
Yeah, I know I called him Bryce Petty. But yeah, Bryce Young.
He used to play for Baylor. But as far as championship week goes, and it looks like we got about 5 more minutes here. As far as championship week goes, I mean, what game are you looking forward to? It doesn't have to be one that really affects the standings, but the first one that I looked at was, and Chad said it before we even came on here. It's pretty wild that Clemson's not even in a championship game. But what does the Pitt Panthers and Kenny Pickett have against Wake Forest? Two pretty dynamic offenses. I think anybody that watches this game is going to watch a shootout.
Okay.
There's the Big Ten championship and the ACC championship are on at the exact same time.
Mhm.
And I'm almost willing to bet that the winner of the ACC championship game is going to have more points than the entire Big Ten championship combined.
As far as the games that I'm going to watch, I want to watch that Michigan and Iowa game. Like, I know Iowa was good to start the season. We were talking about on the show with Chad when you weren't on a Monday whether or not they can be a spoiler here.
You boys
Did
will
they-
be here, so you're going to be watching it.
Yeah, like, are they going to be waving goodbye or, like, doing the waving to Michigan, saying goodbye? Because I think that they're a team that could beat Michigan. I would like to see, after Harbaugh's trash talking of Ryan Day, which I didn't get the chance to talk to you about. Did you heard that line that I said he said?
No.
Some people are born on third and think they hit a triple. So after making a comment like that again today, yeah,
That's
I
a
wouldn't
good
mind
chirp.
seeing him. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him getting smacked in the Big Ten and then losing his dance opportunity. So it's a game I'm looking
is
forward
a
to watching.
That's a strong chirp, even though Harbaugh's a bitch. All right. Well,
Obviously, Georgia, Alabama. That's the only game to me that matters.
I expect to see
Any
you
day
around
of the
4 o'clock.
week.
You see-
We're gonna try to swing it. We'll try to swing it.
yeah, I mean,
Depends what happens in my own game with my own guys.
that's fair.
If we win a natty, me making it for 8 o'clock. I don't know which version of me you're gonna see.
I do. I'm fully aware of what version I'm going to. That's why I asked if you were coming.
Like, I'll be there, like, physically. I don't know, but, like, in spirit, how much I might be in there if we win that game. But yeah, no, I'll see the Georgia Alabama game. My game, I'm very enticed into that. And then that Big 12 game, Oklahoma State and Baylor. That has so many implications on what could still happen. I think
Especially with
that's
us
really
making money off
intriguing.
of it.
Yeah, I do enjoy making money. But no one's talking about, the Sun Belt Championship, Louisiana and Appalachian State. It's just a burner that day
Yeah, that one's going to be on for sure.
on all the
I think,
TVs.
The one for sure.
It's on
like,
ESPN3, so make sure you get on that one, guys.
I'm definitely looking forward to our good pal Lane taking down Prairie View State. That one's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of football. I mean, it's a pleasure to be able to get it all packed into one Saturday. Really, here the Pac-12 championship game's Friday night because no one gives a shit about it. But
Hey, Lane just commented. I think you heard his name.
yeah, what a guy, what a stud. Yeah,
I think it's time we have to address this coaching thing. I gotta just get it off our
Okay,
chest.
good.
I know
I'm
we've
glad
been
we did.
playing
We're good.
nice.
We might be into overtime here. You know what? There's a little bit of there was a little bit of drama going on here. There was a lot of 10-year, $95 million contracts doled out, and some of us are happy about some of them, and some of them aren't.
I think
Yeah.
the big one. We'll
Sorry, our
start
coach
off.
just chimed in. He sees our old football helmets in the background. So
Yeah, he sees me getting PTSD looking at a helmet.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Kaz.
Yes,
The
sir.
big thing I think is let's start with Oklahoma before I get too heated. I'm more like concerned with what's going to happen with USC. I shouldn't say concerned. Excited to watch it. California needs USC winning. It's that simple. The West Coast for football needs a good USC team. Kelly's probably going to unfollow us and tell me that I'm a fucking asshole. The best thing they could have done was go and get a guy who brings in quarterbacks every single year. He's brought the top guys in every year. He sent numerous guys to the NFL, like I said on Monday with Kalen. And that's what USC is. They used to be a quarterback factory. Every single year, they're pumping them out. Every draft class. Like if you got recruited to USC, there's a good chance you're going to the NFL. Matt Castle was a backup at USC and had a long NFL career. And I think that's it's gonna be like that all over again. And as far as Oklahoma goes, I don't know who they're gonna go get. You can't ask Bob Stoops to keep running that show. The guy's like 80, isn't he?
Well, I mean, he's also enjoying his job with Fox, so I think he's pretty cool. He gets to hang out with Brady Quinn and Matt Lyon. He's the ugliest guy on the stage every day.
Brady Quinn's a handsome man.
I just it's
yeah, Matt Liner too. I mean, yeah, like Bob Stoops. He's not a gremlin, but he looks like it if he's standing between those two fucking beautiful men.
the money, guys, the rumored contract that he got. Like how crazy are these college football coaching contracts? That's what I don't. That's what I don't understand. What is like Lincoln Riley's really really good, but like he just got paid like $40 million or offered and signed the contract for $40 million with Oklahoma, and now he's gonna go get $100 million with USC in a private jet and a $6 million house in LA.
And every 5-star athlete across the entire country followed him there. Like the top
Well,
quarterback.
is that the case? We've all
Yeah,
made fun of the Pac-12 for how long now? Is this finally? Is this just going to be the one good team in the Pac-12 for the next decade?
100%.
Or
The,
So
the
you just
five-star
got
quarterback at Oklahoma has already decommitted and recommitted to USC, and they just had a 5-star running back from Florida decommit and go to USC.
all right,
He's not the only one getting paid there. Hey, he's not the only one getting paid there. There's lots of money flowing around LA right now.
I agree with you. I saw the quarterback transfer, and that makes sense because he only committed to be with Lincoln Riley. So I totally get that. But it's just like I don't know. You're going to the SEC. You're going to the conference. I'm going to keep bringing it up. But Chad, you obviously saw Kelly's conference with LSU and what he said. This is the best conference in college football. This is where all the star athletes want to go.
And that fucking traitor's gonna get fucking slapped, and I can't wait to watch it happen.
So I'm going to just say something nice about him because history is on his side. The last 3 head coaches at LSU have all won the national championship. So if there's something that's eluded Brian Kelly, it's the national championship. So if he wanted to go and get that, his best chance is at LSU. Now, Chad, it's time to tee off. It's okay. This is a safe space. You're welcome to open up. Try and keep it, I don't know, at least 18 plus. Don't go like super triple X rated here.
Honestly, man, like I was shocked more than anything on Monday night. I'm still pissed off. But one thing you learn in sports, as we all learned our whole lives playing, is you move on and you adapt.
These hoes ain't loyal.
He, as far as Brian Kelly goes, fuck him. I don't care about him anymore.
Whew. Rough. You know, you and Big Fudge finally have something in common because he fucking hates Brian Kelly because of what he did to Cincinnati. He did the same thing at Cincinnati when he left for Notre Dame, man.
It was different though. Like, I've done some pretty mean things in my life. That's all we're gonna say. I have seen the greener grass, and I've went and jumped all over it. But yeah, you want to leave Notre Dame?
You are the worst. You are the absolute worst. We're on live TV, sir.
But yeah, when you want to do that to Notre Dame, I have no love for you at all. The one thing I want to take away from it was we didn't lose any recruits, which is why I think Marcus Freeman is the guy. He was a great recruiter. That's what he's known for. And like he helped recruit that Cincinnati team. The takeaway I got from it was when all this came down is we literally have 3 linebackers that committed, 2 5s and a 4-star. Not one of them even jumped ship. Are we going to get the quarterbacks? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say we are, but with Tommy Rees staying, and the whole coaching staff stayed. So either this was dealt with way before that any of us even found out about, or in the locker room, there was no love for Brian Kelly. That's what that shows me.
Or can I put in a third option that you're going to be even more pissed off about?
Always. You're going to do it anyways.
All these guys are hanging out to finish the season in the off chance that a playoff berth is there, because there's still a playoff berth that's on the line here. And once things are done and I'm guessing like now that Michigan seems like they're going to be in the playoffs, I think that we're lined up for a Notre Dame Michigan State bowl game. I do believe that. I think it's a Fiesta Bowl. I'll call that right now. But after that bowl game, could you see Tommy? And we've talked a lot about Tommy Rees's name has been probably mentioned more on the show than his entire life. But do you see Tommy Reese and maybe some of these other coaches making the jump down to the Bayou?
He already said no, and I do believe him. I think him and Marcus Freeman have a great relationship, and I think what's going to happen, I think he's going to get paid. I think that's the real reason why Notre Dame knows what they have.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of young quarterbacks that we need. And if you lose your OC, those kids are jumping ship. Like, Jack Cron's gone. So Tyler Buckner is going to start next year. He's only a freshman right now. If you lose your head coach and your OC, who are both off, obviously the OC is offensive mind, but Brian Kelly's an offensive mind, that quarterback's not staying.
Shit, who's 61? Is she saying Brian Kelly's 61?
Oh, probably Stoops, maybe behind. And that's how old he was.
He doesn't look 61, but damn. Jeez. Well, Chad's okay. Yeah, Chad's getting all choked up over there over this Brian Kelly thing.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, Shane, I sent you this stat the other day, or I want to say it with Chad here to see. I didn't realize how important Brian Kelly was to Notre Dame until I saw this. So, last or double-digit win seasons, the last 5 years, 5. Before that, or previous 23 years, 4. So I get it. I understand why you're upset, but you mentioned a lot of good things about players sticking around. Namely, like if your defensive players stick around, your 5-star, your 4-star players, because the defensive coordinator is probably going to be the head coach, that's a good sign. And you guys are playing in a conference that your defense can win you a lot of games. So it doesn't matter who your quarterback is. Yeah, exactly. You're playing in that independent.
We're getting ready for kickoff here, so we're going to have to wind this thing down because there's a few Cowboys fans on here that want to go watch kickoff. They don't want to see Chad cry about Brian Kelly. But the big thing is, your team's going to be intact. I think that getting a younger head coach is probably a positive in this day and age. This guy's been with Brian Kelly for the last over a decade, and you'd have to assume that they know something, and it's time that they take the reins. I don't think that Notre Dame football is going to fall apart because of it. Can't say the same for our friends in white and red. I'm not even sure who their next head coach is going to be. I think they're going to have a hard time filling that position because of the void that Lincoln Riley's leaving there, and because of some of these transfers following him. I think that's going to be a tough position to follow, but we can pick that up on Monday.
Especially staring down the SEC in a few years.
Well, and you know what? That was the question that I didn't even get to ask you, but before they kick off here, do you think that has something to do with Riley leaving? Because I do. I think
100%.
The fact that he's produced these guys, he knows that no matter what, he'll never make that kind of money outside at Oklahoma, and he was about to become maybe the 7th or 8th best coach, coming from a conference where he was by far the best coach. So, well, what do? You tuck tail and you go to the Pac-12, and now you're surrounded by a bunch of assholes that don't know anything, bunch of rejects from the NFL, and there you go. Now we're good. They pull all the recruits. USC, it's going to be fun to watch again. It's going to be nice to have them back in the mix, but yeah, Pam Oliver's on here. Let's wrap it up here. Obviously, before we go, make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube, the Twitch, Instagram. Check out all of the Facebook. What did I miss? Oh, the podcast. Chad's putting all the podcasts out. If you just want to listen to the audio, if you're going for a drive, and make sure you go hit that super boost and hit it hard, because our boy Lane's going to make us some money and he's going to win a championship. He's going to come on here with the trophy. And
go Tigers!
We will catch you guys on Monday.
Later,
Cheers,
buddy.
boys.
Cheers.